This is Matt from TalkLaserToMe.com, your place to buy and sell laser designs. And today we're going to talk about how to make a snowflake ornament in Adobe Illustrator. So we've got Adobe Illustrator open here on the screen. We're going to create a new document by going to File, New. I like to set mine up for a Glowforge because that is what I use. So that is the dimensions. Here are my settings. I'm going to hit Create. We've got our artboard right here. The first thing that we're going to do to make our snowflake is to use the line tool, which can be found over here by holding, whoops, wrong place, by clicking here for the line segment tool or pushing L on your keyboard. You're going to left click and drag. And you can see here, it forms a line. If you hold down Shift, it locks it to a degree. So we're going to pull it down, make our line something like that. Next, we're going to switch over to the rectangle tool right here, shortcut M. I'm going to left click and drag. And again, here I'm going to hold down Shift and I'm going to make a square. Now, with our rotate tool, shortcut R, or it's over here, I'm going to left click, drag, hold down Shift to snap and lock it in place. Let go of left click, and there's our square. Now, I'm going to take the direct selection tool, keyboard shortcut A, and I'm going to select this point right here, and I'm going to hit Delete. So now I'm left with just two lines right here. I'm going to take those, drag them over here. This will be the top part of my snowflake. Down just a little. Now I want to duplicate this. So what I'm going to do is select it with the selection tool, keyboard shortcut V. Left click it. I'm going to drag it down, hold Shift, that'll lock it, and then hold Alt to duplicate it. Now with Shift and Alt held down, you're going to let go of your left click. And now you have two parts to this snowflake. I think my line needs to be a little bit longer at the bottom, so I'm going to use the direct selection tool, keyboard shortcut A, to select this point. I'm going to pull it down a little bit, and that looks pretty good. So now, this is our snowflake. Doesn't look much like one right now, but it will. I'm going to select everything, and I'm going to go up here to stroke. I'm going to add a few points to thicken this up. We'll go to 10. Then I'm going to left click on stroke. Pulls up this menu here, and I'm going to change the cap to, instead of to a butt cap, to a round cap. And that gives us a round end on our lines. Now select everything. We're going to use the rotate tool, keyboard shortcut R. And what we're going to do is we're going to go down to this point right here, and I'm going to hold down Alt, and I'm going to left click right on this anchor point. You should get a menu that looks like this. For our snowflake, we're going to rotate it 60 degrees. So I'm going to type in 60. You can see it moved. And I'm going to hit Copy. Now see, as I've done that, we now have the second part to our snowflake. Now, to duplicate this and to keep the rotation, I'm going to hold down Control or Command if you're on Mac, and I'm going to press D. That will not only duplicate the copy, but also the rotation that we did. If I hit Control or Command on Mac D a few more times, you can see that you have a snowflake. Now this looks a little sparse to me, so I'm going to add a little bit more stroke to it. Something like that. Since we're cutting this with a laser, we want it to have a good amount of thickness. So this is what we've got. Now, if I go to preview this and I hit Control or Command Y, you can see the lines. This is what your laser will see. We don't want the laser to cut this out. We want it to cut this out. So in order to do that, I'm going to use the selection tool, shortcut V, left click drag to select everything. I'm going to go up to Object, Expand, make sure Fill and Stroke are checked, and hit OK. And now if we look at that line preview with Control Y, you can see here it has expanded those shapes. But it's made it quite messy, and we don't want the laser trying to cut this right here. So I'm going to go back, hit Control Y, or Command if you're on the Mac. Use the selection tool to left click drag on everything. Go up to Window, Pathfinder. Pathfinder should pop up. You're going to left click on Unite. This takes all the pieces that we just created and all those complex lines, and it's going to form them into one object. So hit Unite. Now, we look at our preview again. There's the snowflake. All right, so for our snowflake, we're going to also add a ring if you wanted to hang it on something. So we're going to go over here to our Shapes panel. We're going to use the Ellipse tool. Shortcut is L for that. I'm going to left click, but not drag. Pulls up the menu here. And I'm going to type in, let's say, 0.2 inches, 0.2 inches, enter, and that creates it. So as we can see, that's pretty small compared to this. But my artboard, this is pretty darn big. So we're going to go ahead and scale this down to meet right there. So all I did was use the direct selection tool, or excuse me, the selection tool to left click and grab it. I grabbed a corner to change the side, and I held down Shift to adjust the size of the ornament. There we go. So this is starting to look right. You can see right here that this circle has got a fill. But we don't want it to be filled. We want it to be empty. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hit the Swap Fill option right here. And we're going to see the circle switch. Pull that up a little bit right here. Now we're going to take the circle. I'm going to add a stroke. Now it kind of cut into the middle, and we don't want that. So we're going to go to Stroke up here, and we're going to set a line stroke to the outside. That way, that measurement of 0.2 inches will stay the same, and we'll have a nice stroke on the outside. And there it is. That's our snowflake. We do have this circle here that also needs to be expanded. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to go to Object, Expand Appearance. And then I'm going to left click, select everything, go back over to Pathfinder, and hit Unite. Now if I look at the outline preview by hitting Control Y, you can see we've got our ornament. Close that, and there we go. So if you don't know what size this is, and let's say you have something specific in mind, what I like to do is to use the Ellipse tool, shortcut L, left click, and let's say you wanted it to be 4 inches. So we go here, 4 inches. This is what 4 inches would look like. So as we can see, I made mine probably a bit too small, but easy enough to fix. And there we go. So this is 4 inches. This should come out about 4 inches as well. So now that we've got this done, I'm going to switch the fill to a stroke because most laser cutters usually like the outline better if you're going to be cutting, which I am for the ornament. Then I'm going to go up here to File, Save As. Let's see, you got a bunch of different stuff. We'll go to Projects. We're going to save this as Snowflake. Drop down here to SVG. Hit Save. The most important part of this menu is to make sure that you have responsive unchecked. Hit OK. And that's it. So now it's ready to go and to be uploaded to Glowforge if you're using that, or if you have another program like Lightburn, ready to upload to that. Now I'm going to upload our snowflake design to Glowforge. If you don't have a Glowforge, feel free to skip past this part. For those of you that do, what I'm going to do is go down to where I save the file, left click on it, drag it over, and release. So we've got it right here. Settings that I'm going to use to cut are, I think, 170 at full power. Now it's ready to go. So that's it. Hope your project turned out well. If you need any help, please leave a comment below and I'll see what I can do to help you. Please like and subscribe and tell your friends about our channel. I'll also leave a link below to download the file for free, which you can use and check out. But that's it. Hope everyone has a lovely day. Design on, my friends.